Okay, to begin our Astheometry project, the first thing we need to do is open Photoshop. Remember, that's the blue box with the PS in it. If it's not in your dock, you can find it on your hard drive. Then we're going to go File, New, and we're going to create a document that is 3 inches wide, 3 inches tall, and 150 pixels per inch with a white background. Then you can click OK. I like to make my window just a little bit bigger so I can see all of my document. Also, you need to make sure that your rulers are visible because that's going to help us in lining things up when we begin to draw. And believe it or not, with this project, we're going to draw curved lines by drawing straight lines. I think you'll see what I mean in a minute. First, what you're going to do, if you do not have your rulers showing, you're going to go View, and then make sure there's a check mark by the word rulers, or you could use Command R as a shortcut. Then you shove rulers across the top and down the side. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to select the pencil tool, and that is underneath the brush tool. So if you go down the side, it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tools from the top, and it says brush tool. We actually don't want the brush, we want the pencil. So we need to click and hold, move our cursor over, and highlight the pencil tool and let go. Now we have the pencil tool. We also want to make the size of our pencil. If you'll notice, that's pretty small. We don't want ours to be quite that small. So we're going to come up here to the top where the pencil tool is showing under the PS, and you'll see a 1. And we're going to change that. Let's try 5 pixels. And let's see what that looks like. I think that looks pretty good. Let's leave it at 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to draw some straight lines. We're going to start in the lower left corner, and I'm going to click just right as close to that corner as I can. And if you'll notice then, my ruler has little lines, little hash lines over here on the side, lined up at 3, and it was also lined up at 0 if you look here across the top. So line it up at 0 and 3. You're going to click and let go, and then you're going to move up and you're going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4 little marks, and that's 1/4 of an inch. And we're going to come right to the edge of our paper this time, so that's going to be at the 0 mark. I'm going to hold down my Shift key and click again, and it drew a nice straight line for me. Now I want to continue on with this. I'm going to click right where I was before. I'm going to move over to the edge of this paper on the right side. I'm going to measure down. If you'll notice over here, I'm going down 4 little marks, which is 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to hold down my Shift key and I'm going to click again, and it drew a nice straight line. We're going to keep going around and doing this until we get completely to the middle. So if you'll follow along, I'm going to click at 3 across the top and 1/4 across the side, right where I left off. Click. Then I'm going to move down and I'm going to move over 4 marks back from the 3 at the top, which is 2 3/4 inches. I'm going to line that up right at the edge of the bottom of the paper, or the 3 mark. Hold down my Shift key and I'm going to hit click. Now the next one gets a little tricky because we're no longer going to be going to the outside of the paper. I want you to think of this as a pinball machine. When you're playing a pinball machine and you hit the flappers, it bounces the ball, and the ball can hit another object within the game, or it can hit the wall, or it can hit a rubber band, but it does not ever go through a wall. And we want to think of this line as being a wall. So I want you to think of this little black dot, or this line that you're drawing. When it's chasing over here, it can't go through that wall. It has to stop on that wall and bounce. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to click right where I left off. I'm going to come over to the left side. I'm going to come up from the 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 little marks. And I'm going to click right on my line, holding my shift key, and click. And now we're going to just keep going. So I'll let you watch. I'm going to click again. Where I was last time, count over 4 more little marks. Go right on the line, hold down the shift key, click. Click again, go to the next area. I'm going to come down 4 little marks from where I was before, right on that line, hold down the shift key, click. And then I'm just going to keep doing that until I get to the middle. You can see it's getting very close now in the middle, but I want to keep going until I really can't go anymore. And that looks pretty good. Now we're finished with this part of the project. Go ahead and go File, Save As, call it your first name and last name. You need to first save it as a Photoshop document so it has PSD at the end. Then you can save it and then you can keep working on it. You could start again if you stopped, we're finished, we're out of time and you needed to stop for another class or whatever. Then you could open it again, the PSD document, continue working, save it as that PSD when you're finished, and then do the file, save as, and make sure you change the format from Photoshop to JPEG. The JPEG is what we're going to need for the next step.